two of the exercises that we have paired together in this training cycle. So both of these this is geared for like speed and power development. So one of the ones that we're using right now is a rack front squat. So the rack front squat is really good from a rate of force development standpoint because you're going from a static position and you're having to create force from that static position. So you're trying to teach the body basically how to create a lot of force and then do it very quickly. Those are two very important concepts. You want to produce a lot of force and you want to produce it very quickly. The more you can do of both of those, generally the better athlete, the faster, the more explosive you're going to be, which is what you want to do if you're training to be from an athletic standpoint. So we're going to get set up here. So when we go on this one, the first thing that I want for this cycle, you can do this different ways, is we want to get set up. I want to be around a half squat. That's kind of where I want to be at from my positioning on this one. So we don't want to be in a full squat. I don't necessarily want to be up like a quarter on this one. We want to be around half. So when we get set up here, all right, go ahead and when you're ready, go ahead, take it down. Hold. Up. Good. One more. Down. Up. Lock it in. Okay. You'll see there when we're going from that position, we want to have a complete dead pause. Now, when we're going on this, we're using chains right now. So in this one with chains, the chains, as you come up, more chains come off the ground, which makes the resistance heavier. So as you come up, it's called, I'm drawing a blank actually right now. So basically as you come up, all right, there's more resistance coming up. So you have to basically teach your body how to create more force and accelerate the weight as the resistance comes up. Because if you accelerate at the same speed as more chains come off, you'll hit like a sticking point and you won't be able to push through. Now we're working with sub-maximal weights when we're going on this one. So that's really not gonna happen, but we wanna think about trying to move that weight as fast as we can. Now, if you don't have chains, that's perfectly fine. The key aspect that I wanna get from this is that when you're on the pins, all right, basically what I'm looking for is when the barbell's on the pins, how fast can we move the barbell about 3 to 4 inches, right? And with that, the faster your brain can send the signal to go and the faster your body can go, that's where the rate of force development comes from. So go ahead and go one more time. So when we go here, right, go ahead and do a rep where you go about 80%, go down and about 80% speed off the pin. Go even a little bit slower. Up, right there. So you'll see right there, like that last rep there, right? That last rep right there, he did the movement, he stood up, it wasn't super difficult, but the speed off the pins wasn't as crisp and as fast and honestly as aggressive as I want when we're working on this. Go ahead, go one more time. Now I want to see when you're on that pins, I want you to explode up as hard and as fast as you can. So you're gonna get set, hold it, don't go until I tell you to. Now I want to see from there to here how fast we go. Go! Just like that, go ahead and walk it in, okay? So like I said, the chains adds resistance basically as they come up. So we have to teach our body to accelerate the weight as we're going, all right? Now, if we don't have chains, we can do the same thing, just take the chains off. Go ahead, go again. So if you don't have access to chains, it's perfectly fine. It's really not that big of a deal. What you can control is how fast you tell your body, how fast you can move it. Now you see right there how he came up on his toe, so that's a good example. Go ahead and walk it in. His body is used to right now having to accelerate it more, so his body didn't have the time to calibrate, so he moved it the same way he did with the chains, and you saw how he kept accelerating through the top. That's one of the problems is a lot of times with traditional weights with the strength curve, as you go up, your body's gonna have to decelerate. When you have, whether it's chains, bands, kind of modalities like that, modalities like that, is that you're having to teach the body to keep accelerating the weight through the top edge. You're actually moving the weight faster and accelerating through a bigger range of motion, or a larger area when you're going on that, which is one of the things that you want to work on and will help improve speed and power development. So that's going to be the first exercise. So when we're going on this, we would do this exercise, all right? Not a lot of reps, anywhere from probably 1 to 3 reps is generally where we want to be at. We're going to pair it up, so we'll take you over and we'll show you what the exercise that we have paired with, that both of these work from a potentiation standpoint. Okay, so here's the second exercise. So we did our rack front squats. That's our first exercise. Our A2 exercise is going to be a trap bar jump. So on this one, we want to go from a static position. So we want to mirror up kind of our stimuluses. So on the rack front squats, we're working from a force development standpoint where we're not getting any basically elastic energy because we're going from a static position. On the jumps, we want to do the same thing. So we're changing up basically the velocities and the force components of the two movements. So we want the rack front squat to potentiate over to our jumps. So when we go on this, go and get set up. We're going to get set up in a good position. So I want the back tight, the chest up. From here, we're going to try and generate as much force as quickly as we can and explode up. Just like that, he would reset, he would go from the floor again, and then he would go again. Relax for 1 second. So when we're going on this one, the same concept still applies. When we're on the pins, we're trying to create that force as fast and as aggressively as we can. When we're on the jumps, we're trying to move that weight and get up as high as we can, and we only have and this isn't going to be accurate, maybe a tenth of a second to produce that force. So I need to take what I'm doing with a heavier load on the chain or the rack squat variation and apply it here with my jumps. Right now, if I don't have, say, a trap bar, right? Again, people will use like excuses about what they don't have. I can do this exact same thing. It might not be perfect, but I could do this with dumbbells. Right? I could do something where I have 2 dumbbells down by my side and I'm just going to go from a static position. So I'm going to go from right here, I'm going to hold the dumbbells, and I'm going to explode up. Right? I could do, there's a lot of different ways that you could do the same concept, right? And get the same benefit. Now the last thing when you're going on this, when we go and I'm watching on this, I want to see how much air time we're getting. The higher we're jumping right here with this implement, the higher we're going to vertical jump, the more power we're producing. So that's one of the emphasis. That millisecond when you're trying to drive it off the pins needs to be the exact same thing here when you're going off the jumps with the trap bar. Get up as high as you can, be as explosive, be as powerful as you can. Generally on this one, we're going to go anywhere from, again, kind of the same, about 2 to 3 reps, generally where we want to be at. The load doesn't need to be crazy. So again, this is about, he's got a 35.4 inch vertical jump. His front squat is over 300 pounds. He will probably generally anywhere for him go from anywhere from a 10 on each side to about a 25. That's probably a good load that we would utilize through different like waving schemes on this one. So those are 2 exercises. You want to produce speed, power, and you're relatively well trained. He's been training for about 3 years now. If you've been training for a couple years and you want to produce speed and power, this is a good pairing to utilize and to look into when you're doing your training.